Hold on, there we go. Okay, let's try that again. I'm still hearing the intro music, Cat. Not sure what that's about. Anyway, all right. Welcome to the Tuesday night Principal Chiro broadcast from DE and Brandon Brothers. I'm Dr. Brian Moriarty, your esteemed MC for tonight's call, and I'm joined by who?
Patrick and Emma.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, Emma. The goofballs. Team Moriarty on the MC for the Tuesday night call. And what are we going to celebrate tomorrow, Patrick?
His birthday.
Tomorrow is Patrick's birthday. And he will be how old? 5, 6, 7?
9.
Nope.
Yes.
Hey, Patrick will be 8 years old tomorrow.
Patrick, are you 8 already? No.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Mom, is Patrick 8?
Yeah. So happy birthday, Patrick. They put it on the bottom. Look, it says happy birthday, Patrick. Happy birthday to you. Okay. And Emma's hiding. See, I'm just not that funny or anything, so I got to bring in kids to get some laugh and amusement out of everybody. But anyway, guys, we got DE coming up for us. Are you guys going to DE?
Yes. I have no idea.
Yes, you're going. How about you? Are you going?
Yeah.
Yes, it's at the beach in DE in Clearwater. All right, let's have DE. Can we get that out of my mouth? Okay, there it is. Thank you, Kat. At least she's still doing a good job there. January 12th to the 15th in Clearwater Beach in Florida. Come one, come all. Then we go April 13th to the 16th in Sarasota before our 2 Atlanta DEs, July and October back-to-back. Go to lifede.com. We need everybody to get registered ASAP. We are under a month here. We're about 3.5 weeks left, I think, until DE. If you haven't gotten your hotel, then message Kat. The room block deadline's over, but you could probably still beg Kat for a room, and maybe she could deliver something. Get registered for DE, please. Sooner the better on that. And it's going to be a great DE. What?
I wish it could be my birthday.
It's not your birthday till June, but that's okay. I wish it was too, but it's Patrick's. So anyway, get signed up for DE. We can't wait. It's going to be an amazing DE. We're going to be honoring Dr. Ed Cordero for his service to Sherman College. So you won't want to miss it. A lot of big surprises there. It's going to be an awesome DE, guys. So go to lifede.com, make your plans. We will all be there. The Moriarty crew, all of us will be there. We're excited to be at the beach and listening to some great inspirational speakers. But speaking of that, we're going to have a great inspirational speaker tonight, guys. We have Dr. Claudia Mueller on, and she practices with Dr. Drew Henderson in
I just act like a ballerina.
Oh, great. Good part of the intro there. Yeah, Dr. Drew, Murrayville, Georgia. Murrayville family chiropractic here. Where's she going? Okay. So they also do Boondocks Coffee together. I think she's like a co-owner of that. So, but this lady's an absolute sweetheart. I mean, she is like one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. We were up there in Georgia for the GCC casino night a couple weeks ago, and she's just the most nicest, most welcoming person. Probably because she's from New Jersey like me. Originally from Clifton, New Jersey, and 1993 graduate of Life University. Guys, Emma, Patrick, give it up for Dr. Claudia Mueller. Woo! Good. Take it away, Claudia. We love and appreciate you.
That is the sweetest welcome. Hey guys, happy birthday, Patrick. It's so good to see you guys. Oh my gosh. And yes, it's because I'm from New Jersey. That's why we are known for being hospitable and loving people. But yes, I am from New Jersey and I'm thrilled to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Andy asked me back October DE if I would do this, and I totally forgot about it, but I agreed to it despite being just painfully nervous. And I hope I don't embarrass myself, but I thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I thought it would be kind of cool just to get back to basics. We talk about dynamic essentials and what exactly is the dynamic essential. I hope that you know it. If you don't know it, let me just remind you. Well, we're gonna get to that at some point, but we know that the dynamic essential is being aware, humble, and obedient to the voice of God. Let me just tell you a little bit about me. He's right. I graduated in '93 from Life. But before that, I worked for Dr. Tom Sidoti in New Jersey. He's a big DE guy from Clifton. He hasn't been around for a couple of years, but I'm trying to get him back. Hope to see you soon. I started working for him in high school, and it's kind of a funny story, and I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. I was in my homeroom class, and I saw this little note up on this bulletin board, and it was like an ad for a front desk person at this chiropractor's office. Didn't know anything about chiropractic. It was the middle of school. And I told my homeroom teacher, I'm like, I need a hall pass, like right now. I need to go call this guy. She goes, oh, no, you can do it like after school. I said, no, I need to call him right now. So I picked up this little piece of paper. I went to the hall, we do stuff at the school, where we work in the vice principal's office and all that kind of jazz. So I went there, used the phone, and I called this office, and I'm like, I'm, interested in this position. So I went that afternoon and interviewed with him. And it was just like, I had to go right that minute. Nothing else mattered. It was just one of those promptings from God. Like, I had to go do this. So I interviewed with him. I got the job, front desk CA. And this was like a different place than I'd ever been before. Everybody was happy. They were having so much fun. His wife worked in the office. They were pregnant. They were going to have the baby. And it was just a happy place. Everybody was getting well and, thrilled to be there. So I'm like, hey, this is cool. I like this environment. But, I worked there for quite some time. But he took me to DE the following summer. This is about, I would say, like 1986 or so. And I knew that experience going to DE was going to change my life. I mean, I knew as soon as I walked in that room, like, these people are nuts. I love them. Like, these are the people I want to be around. So that really is kind of, what sparked the mission field for me. Like, that was it. I was blessed to have that foundation of DE for my chiropractic foundation. Listening to Dr. Sid, Bob Satilli, Sigafus, Santo, all those guys, just amazing. It was such an honor. It makes me so sad that the new chiropractors don't get to have those experiences with those greats. But, we have some greats right now in our midst. And it's just such an amazing place to be. So I'm so thankful to have DE as my foundation for chiropractic, for sure. And I pray really every single day that I can honor those that came before me, with this legacy that we have. It's just amazing. But like Brian said, I've been practicing since 1994, had my own practice with a partner back in Alpharetta, did that for a long time. And, through all the different stages of life, like having kids, my practice changed. I was there full time, and then I had babies, and then it was harder to stay there full time. But that's the beauty of what we do, that we can change it. When we start having kids and we want to be there for things, we can change our hours. We can make it so that we can still have a balance of family. I mean, that's such a blessing. Not everybody can do that. So, I feel really, really honored. I was there for every single game, every performance. I never missed a thing. And it's as important as chiropractic is to me. Like, my kids are number one. That's it. So, God, family, chiropractic. So I was really able to be there for everything. And I'm just really feel honored to be able to do what was important. But anyway, talking about the dynamic essential, sometimes it's good just to kind of get back to the basics. Like, what are the basics? What's the why behind what we're doing? Be aware, humble, and obedient to the voice of God, right? We all know that. If you've been to DE, if you're listening to this thing, you know that. But we're just going to talk about that a little bit. And I'm just going to share my experience with it. How do we get aware? First we have to really acknowledge, like, God is sovereign. We have to acknowledge that there's a God and that he's sovereign over our lives, and we can trust that. How do we become aware? There's a lot of different things that people do. There's prayer, there's stillness, meditation. And I'm going to be honest, like the 49 breaths, obviously going to DE since 1986, like I know about the 49 breaths. I've been yelled at by Sid walking out of the room because, maybe I don't want to do it. Maybe I'm just uncomfortable doing it. I can't breathe that fast. Like, it was just a thing for me. Like, I just had this mental headspace where I couldn't breathe that quickly. I start getting lightheaded, and then I start not focusing on what we're supposed to be doing. So it was really just kind of like a mental block for me. But honestly, back in the summer at DE, I said, okay, the summer, like this past summer, 2022, from 1986, this is how long I'd been struggling with this whole 49 breast thing. I made a pledge. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to force myself to do it. It's probably going to take me an hour and a half to do 49 breaths and do the whole thing, but I'm going to force myself to do it. There's something to it, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be honest with you, like, I was holding on to some anger, grief. Life just throws you some really wild curveballs sometimes. And I had just been holding on to some pain, fear, just this feeling of lack, of just uncertainty about, like, how did I get to the place where I was at this point in my life? Went through a divorce. I had to leave my practice. I left my home. Like, everything changed for me just in a short period of time. It was really, really difficult. It was difficult leaving my practice, but I'm going to be honest, like, being in that practice where I was for so long, in my spirit, I knew that that was not where I was supposed to be, because the way that the practice was evolving was not lining up with the God within me that was telling me that this is not how it's supposed to be. So I was holding on. But then God moved me, and he said, okay, it's time for you to go. Move out of this situation that I was in. And it was really scary. Like I said, it was a big change. Everything changed for me really quickly. But doing the 49 breaths, I would do them every morning, and I would focus on, and this is just how I did it. I would focus on gratitude, first being thankful for all the things that God was blessing me with in my life. Then releasing all the things that were not serving me. They were not serving me. They were not serving my family. They were not honoring God. So I really kind of focused on that. And then finally, with the breaths, I would also focus on the abundance, welcoming the abundance in. The abundance of love, the abundance of health, the abundance of peace and joy, the abundance of new patients and old patients coming back, the abundance of time with my kids, just all these different things. And then there was a shift all of a sudden. Well, I won't say all of a sudden, because like I said, from 1986 to 2022, that's not all of a sudden. But when I finally became dedicated to doing those breaths, things shifted. The pain lifted, the grief lifted, the fear lifted. The feeling of lack was just kind of released. It was such a blessing. So I want to encourage you, if you're not doing your 49 breaths, just do it. Just force yourself to do it. And you just have no idea, like what can be released in you if you just kind of follow these principles. You know, there's no point in, you're not going to hear anything new tonight. All of these things that I'm going to tell you are things that I've learned here at DE. And it's stuff that everyone else has said. So like I said, it's not going to be anything new, but this is just kind of like how it worked for me. And then as far as being aware, like, how do I know that I'm hearing God's voice over my educated mind? Well, I can tell you God's voice is way more wise than I am. He's stronger. He's kinder. He speaks clearly. He speaks in a way that I don't speak. So when I hear prompting in my head, and I don't know if you've ever had this, I hope you have had this experience, and I've had a couple of experiences like this in my life, where I heard his voice and I knew it was him because it wasn't my voice. It wasn't my thoughts. It wasn't the way that I speak. And like I said, I've had several of those promptings. You know, one of them, like I just started out, was my wanting to go and interview with that job with Dr. Tom. My second office space that I found, like for some reason I was in my old office space and something told me, like, you need to leave right now, drive up the street and go to this space. It was totally weird. Couldn't afford it. Like, it was just not, you know, I couldn't have made this happen, but ended up being the perfect office space, and everything just fell into space. So like those little promptings that God will send you. Also working with Dr. Drew, excuse me. God told me, like, this is where I want to place you right now. Like, this is the place where I want you to be. Here it is. Just go. Just trust me. Just go. So I did. And, you know, it's just been such a blessing. So try to be aware. I'm going to have some water. Excuse me. Do whatever you need to do. And obviously, like prayer, meditation, all of those things, so important. The second part of the dynamic essential, being humble. Oh my goodness. Sometimes we struggle with that, right? And we have to put our ego aside, our educated mind aside, to be humble. And what does it mean to be humble? It means that we must really be willing to serve others for their good and for the glory of God, not for our glory, not for the praise of, oh, Dr. Claudia is so wonderful. No, I pray every single morning, Lord, just use me to be a blessing for others, for their good and for your glory. I don't like attention, quite honestly. I don't even like this interaction here because this is attention that I'm not comfortable with. But, you know, our purpose and all of humanity's purpose, really, God created us to glorify him, you know, and all the things that we think, that we say, that we do, that's what we're here for. You know, he uses us and gives us different gifts and uses us in different ways to do that. But we have to be humble. You don't have to be humble, but, you know, if you're going to follow the dynamic essentials, that's number 2, you know, being humble. Are we willing to do so? Are we willing to put ourselves aside and do what God wants us to do? What happens if it's, you know, uncomfortable? What happens if we feel inadequate? What if we just don't want to? You know, do we have a teachable spirit? I mean, sometimes I think about like parenthood. You know, if you're a parent, you know that the moment that child was born, like, it stopped being about you. And it was about that child, you know. Same thing with like marriage. You know, you get married and it's no longer about you. It's about the partnership. It's about the commitment. It's about the other person. That's just a servanthood. It's a different way of thinking. So like, you know, are we having that teachable spirit? You know, I try really hard to learn something new every day. But especially with, you know, having that teachable spirit, like we have a lot of people that come and visit the office. Some of them are new docs, some are old docs. And it surprises me really, like, how a lot of the younger ones don't have a teachable spirit. Like, oh my gosh, you know, when I go to someone else's office, I learn something new all the time. Like, you're missing out if you don't have that teachable spirit. You're missing out on new ways of thinking and new ways of expanding. So I would encourage you to try to foster that teachable spirit, no matter how old you are, no matter how much you think you know, you can always learn something from someone else. I learned stuff from a student last week that she came to visit. She was awesome. Like, I love that. We want to try to have that when we can. And the last part about the dynamic essential is obviously to be obedient. And that's the action part. That's the hard part sometimes, isn't it? That is submitting to God's authority and prompting, not out of anything other than trust, the trust that he has what's best for us. When I look at my plans for my life, they were good. They were honorable. They were honest. They were loving. But his plans are so much better. They're so much better than my plans. And I'm so thankful that I've learned enough wisdom at this point in my life that I just trust. If it's not from God, I don't want it. I just don't. So I know that his plan is way better than my plan will ever be. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. But that is the action step. Are we willing to get up? Are we willing to show up? Are we willing to love more, even if it's uncomfortable? Loving people who are maybe not so loving all the time. We have to do that, and as far as like personally, are we really willing to move when God says to move? Are we willing to stay when he says, this is where I want you for right now? I did that for a long time. I wanted to move out of a certain situation and it wasn't time to move yet. God wanted me to stay where I was for a variety of reasons. And honestly, he blessed me for my obedience in staying in those situations. But when he told me to move, it was very clear. He made the path. I heard him loud and clear. And he created all these different avenues, a different office, a different home, a really strong support system. It was amazing. I never saw that happening. And I couldn't have created that. That was all him. So, and like I said, sometimes it is a matter of just putting ourselves aside, our wants, our needs, and just trusting that God has a plan for us that is so much better than we can even imagine. And are we being obedient when we are being obedient? Like, are we doing so with joy, with contentment, with peace, with trust? Can we do that? Can we trust that God knows and that he has the best for us? We have an amazing, incredible position here, being chiropractors in this world. Like, we have such a sick world. It's so sick in so many ways. Like, I feel like the last 2 or 3 years, everything that was right turned wrong. Everything that was wrong turned right. Everything flipped upside down. And it's just been crazy. But like, this world needs us. This world needs that connection. It needs the connection, not just with one another, but also people need to be connected with that innate inside them. And we're the only ones that can do that for them. So like, what an amazing honor, God has equipped us with chiropractic to serve humanity. It's not about necks and backs, and we know that, but they don't know that. So we need to tell them that. We need to not be afraid to break it down to what it really, really is. Don't be afraid. Just tell the truth. And what's really cool is that we're not just connecting, like I said, we know this. We're not just connecting them with us and our office and the other patients there, but we're connecting them with the God that's within them, the spirit that's within them. And he has not left us alone in this mission field. Number one, he walks with us every moment of every day if we allow him to and ask him to. And we're aware of that. And we have one another. I mean, this DE family is like everything. We're not meant to do this life alone. So if you're feeling like you're alone, you're not. That's a lie. Like, call any one of us, anybody on this thread or on this list or whatever. Like, if you need help, if you need prayer, if you need support, like, reach out. Please do. Please reach out, because we need one another. Reach out, connect, come to DE. Like Brian was saying, we're having an awesome DE. My puppy just walked in the room. In January, like, come, bring your family, bring your staff, bring everybody, bring your students or potential students. You know, we need to build this army. Join your local Band of Brothers. If you don't have a local Band of Brothers, like, start one. You be the one that starts one. You know, it's so important. We get so much out of our Band of Brothers here in Georgia. We're such a great group. We're so blessed. And please join your local straight organizations, like your state organizations. You need to do that. We need your support. They need your support. Again, we need to build these armies so that we can accomplish all the things that our forefathers set up in front of us. You know, we are the next generation. We need you. I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Again, I feel so honored and blessed to have been asked, and I hope I gave you a couple things to think about. And just thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. God bless all of you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Can't wait to see you guys in January. You still there, Brian?
Dr. Claudia Mueller, excuse me. Someone corrected me on that pronunciation.
It's okay.
Yes, great job. You did an incredible job there. I love you to speak it from your heart. God has a better plan than we do. Very, very good lines there you were dropping there. I was taking notes all the way. So thank you so much for everything and for a great call tonight. A lot of comments coming through the bottom. So I think you found your stride and really touched a lot of people. So
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. You did a great job. So keep reading those comments. Here they come, guys. Like, comment, and get to DE. I like that. So that'll wrap it up for tonight's call here, guys. Next week is between Christmas and New Year's, so we're going to take the week off here at the Tuesday night Principled Chiro broadcast. We're going to be back the first week in January with our next speaker. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah. It started a few days ago, and a Merry Christmas and happy holidays for any other holidays I'm forgetting. And also a Happy New Year. And we will see you guys in 2023, both at DE and on the Tuesday night Principled Chiro broadcast. Have a great night, guys.
Good night.